Hi there, and this is Brent Smith, and I am the Common Constitutionalist, and this is the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Video Podcast. And that's 2 weeks in a row. Yay for me. Weekend Video Podcast. 2 weeks in a row. I'm all half expected to do the audio today, but son of a gun if it isn't bright and sunny and it's wonderful out. And so we're going to do video at a random park, on a random park bench. Hooray. Today we're going to be talking about one topic, and that's the Trumpster, President Trump. We're going to be talking about words, how words get him into trouble. But that they're just words. So we're going to be discussing that today on the Common Constitutionalist. You're watching the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Video Podcast. So welcome back. Again, we're going to discuss, I'm going to discuss, you're going to listen, I guess. Again, I'm Brent Smith, I'm the Common Constitutionalist. This is my Common Constitutionalist Weekend Video Podcast. And today I said we were going to talk about Trump's behavior, Trump's speech, the words that he uses, and how it gets him into trouble, and why it shouldn't get him into trouble, or how it shouldn't get him into trouble. So, and once again, got my notes. Hopefully I'll stick to them. I've been pretty good as of late, but we'll see. So this may sound like I'm making excuses for the president, or I'm becoming a Trump apologist for his behavior and whatnot, but it's decidedly not. I've said before, I am not necessarily a Trump guy. I am a Trump policy guy, okay? I'm a constitutionalist policy guy. Whoever gets closest to the Constitution, in my book, wins. It's really just that simple. If you get closest to originalism, constitutionalism, you win the prize from me. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Yeah, I understand that. Bug, dive bomber. So, the fact is that, like I said, I am not a Trump guy. In fact, that there's plenty that I don't even like about Trump. I've said it before, I guess it bears repeating. I don't like his tweeting. I don't like the bluster and the bloviation. I don't even really care for his rallies. Sometimes they're a little fun to watch for 5 or 10 minutes, and sometimes he makes some pretty good points, but for the most part he's there to whip up the crowd, and he's there to whip up support for whatever he wants to do. And that's fine and dandy. I just don't care for that kind of stuff. I'm a policy wonk. That's what I look for. I guess not really a policy wonk, but I'm looking for constitutionalist, originalist policies. If you give me that, you can say or do whatever the crap you want. As a matter of fact, it was either, I can't remember, it was a podcast last week or an article I wrote. But basically I said that, look, as far as this Putin-Russia-Trump meeting thing, this big press conference that the left has gone bananas over, if he had stood up there and said, Vladimir, I've decided that we're going to gift the Ukraine to you back, we're going to, as part of the new Soviet bloc, we're going to gift the Ukraine back to you. And he said it to the public, and he said it to the entire world. And everybody would have a conniption crapola fit. I couldn't have cared less, because, again, Trump's he just throws out these words and it doesn't mean a bloody thing almost all of the time, all right? Tariffs notwithstanding, almost all the time. And frankly, half of the tariffs haven't even been enacted yet, so everybody's going bat crap over nothing that's something that hasn't been done yet. So it's just promises or threats or whatever the crap it is to get people to the negotiating table. That's the way it works. If people haven't figured that out by now, well then duh, okay? Just freaking duh. But the point about this is that the more the left and even the neocon right, the Bush establishment right attacks him, the more people like us that aren't really necessarily even Trump guys we feel compelled to come out and defend the guy for whatever reason. He doesn't need us to defend him, but that's the way we feel. Heck, I remember Glenn Beck even donned a Make It Great, America Great hat, a MAGA hat on, and if you would have bet me, I could have bet you $1,000 a year and a half ago that there's no way on heaven or earth that that would ever happen. But it's driven Glenn to even go and defend this guy because of the needless and ruthless attacks on him. It's just insane. But again, the only reason that I defend the guy, and again, he doesn't need for me to defend him. I'm nobody. But the only reason why I defend him is because of his policies. It has absolutely nothing to do. I'm squinting. I'm putting my glasses on. Sorry, folks. Ah, much better. Yeah, baby. It has absolutely nothing to do with his personality. It doesn't have anything to do with what he says or what he does or who he talks to or who he doesn't talk to, who he invites to the White House or who he doesn't. I couldn't care less. Give me policy or give me strength, give me death, whatever. Give me the proper policies and you can say or do whatever the crap you want to do. I don't care. But the point is that without these policies, without the Trump policies, I'd have no need for the guy. I can do without all the rest of the crap. All the rallies and the bloviation and the blustering and the put downs and the build ups of foreign leaders and opponents and adversaries and whoever. I could take that and I'll throw it in the junk pile without his policies. If he didn't have already enacted great policies, I'd have nothing to do with them. What would be the point? But because of this nonsense and the great policies that he's already enacted and probably will continue, we all, us conservatives, feel the need to defend the guy because he's worth defending, because what he's done has been worthwhile, more than worthwhile. He's done so much more than I ever expected. I am just so pleasantly surprised I can't even believe it. And that's why I feel the need to come to his defense. But every one of these people whining about what a rube Trump is saying, they're all saying the same things. These wonks, these political hacks, these talking heads, these, I don't know, narrow-minded beltway dopes. They're all saying the same thing, is that the fact is that he doesn't understand the politics and he doesn't understand the potential fallout of his words. Frickin' words, all right? Even those people that go out and attempt to defend him, and some of them are just freaking weak. They don't speak their mind. They can't stand up for themselves. They got no business doing it, but they do so tepidly by saying that the excuse is that he's a businessman and he didn't come up through the political ranks. Well, okay, that's fine. And he is a businessman, there's no doubt about it, okay? And he's a New York businessman, a no-nonsense New York City businessman. So for all intents and purposes, they're saying that he doesn't understand that you just can't say things. You just can't do that, Mr. President. You just can't say that, Mr. President. That every word and every sentence should be measured. That's what they insist that has to happen with Trump. Well, frankly, good luck with that, because it's never going to frickin' happen. He's never going to go there. And to be honest with you, that's one of the main reasons why the guy was elected to begin with, is he's a straight talker. He doesn't put up with anybody's crap, and he tells it as he sees it, maybe not as it is, but at least as he sees it, his perspective on things, and he doesn't hold back. And if you're a chump, he's going to call you a chump. If you're a dirtbag, he's going to call you a dirtbag. That's just the way it is, little rocket man. That's a perfect example. So we're going to take a real quick break. Be right back. Yeah, baby. Well, just getting heated up here, folks. Yeah, baby. Be right back.
You're watching the Common Constitutionalist video podcast.
Yeah, baby!
All right, welcome back. Where were we? So for those who followed me through this whole election process, the presidential primaries and everything, everyone knows that I was a Ted Cruz guy. Well, let's check that. I was and still am a Constitution guy. And at the time of the primaries, Ted Cruz was the closest thing to a originalist constitutionalist there was in the running, period. And no one knew anything about Trump other than he was just a big loudmouth businessman, in my opinion. I even worked on Cruz's campaign. But one of the things that I had a beef with Ted Cruz about, and lots of people had a beef with Ted Cruz about, was that he spoke like a political robot. That's the way he always spoke. He spoke in measured terms, just like all the rest of them. So he sounded like a dadgum politician. The problem is that Ted Cruz isn't faking it. He didn't learn to speak that way. He's always that's just who he is. He always speaks that way, even in private, even without the cameras on. Even when he's joking around, he always talks that way. It's just who he is. I remember Glenn Beck saying this, that was his one and only beef about Ted Cruz, is he's like a freaking robot. He's got to lighten up a little bit. But even when he lightens up, he can't help himself. That's what he is. He's just so daggum smart that he can't get out of his own way. Although Mike Lee is at least as smart as Ted Cruz is, and he can lighten up a little bit. Nah, he's still a little bit robotic. He ain't no Trump, that's for sure. They'll never be mistaken for a blue-collar-esque people. Put it that way, like me. All right, I'm a down-home dope. Okay, and I speak like a down-home dope. I like to make my point, and I like to I did it my way. You know, the type of nonsense. But that was the big thing about Cruz, and he was the opposite of Trump. Cruz was the measured politician, and again, he was not measured. This was just the guy he was, and that was a strike against him when he went up against Trump, because Trump's a blue-collar warrior. That's the way it is. That's one of the reasons why he got elected, because he was a plain-spoken guy. He wasn't groomed from birth like a lot of these hacks who have never had a real job. But the point is because Trump is a businessman and a CEO. He's been the head of a company for so daggum long that this is the only way he knows how to speak. This is the only way he knows how to think. It's not politispeak. He just speaks his mind, and everybody either falls in line or they can go find a new daggum job. It's really, that's business for you. And that's the point about Trump. Going from businessman to politician is that he's used to, as a CEO, he's used to making unilateral decisions. Okay, I'm the boss, I make the decision, and everybody else falls in line. Maybe I'll check back with you, maybe I'll check with you beforehand, but that's just the way it is. I say, you do. That's the way business works. If you don't like it, go start your own daggum business. It's really that simple. So he doesn't ever feel, or he's never felt the need to inform his subordinates before, after, whatever. This is the policy, he sets it, and that's the way it goes, unilaterally. That's a lifetime of achievement for this guy. So then you take him out of that realm and you put him into politics and you expect him to flip on a dime. Well, it doesn't work that way. Rome wasn't built in a day, and you can't, you can't write, if that's even a wrong, you can't right wrongs overnight. You can't write decades of behavior and just switch them on a dime, not even a year or two. It takes time to learn how to be a politician, and God help him if he ever does. I don't want him to. Nobody does, frankly. None of his supporters want him to. They want him to be this guy. I don't like particularly the over-the-top speech and the tweets and all the like I said, the bloviation and the insults and stuff. But as long as he gives me policy, what the heck do I care? I don't care what he says. But unfortunately, in politics, that's just not the way it's done. He should be informing his advisors and his intel people first. It's just not fair to them. He's just leaving them hanging out there, flapping in the wind. All right, it just isn't fair to these guys. Well, maybe so, but too bad for you. This is the way Trump runs his company. This is the way Trump's going to run his White House. And if you don't like it, don't work for him. Don't take the position. And if you do take the position and you have fallout, then just say, no harm, no foul, and go along your way and leave. Just resign and say, this just wasn't for me. It just wasn't a good fit. There's no big deal. I mean, I agree with him policy-wise. I just don't agree with all this other stuff. So what? Fine. Whoop-de-doo. He won't take it personally, I bet. And even if he does, too bad. You just resign. That's the way it goes. Here, I have another suggestion, like, what's his name? Director of National Intelligence or whatever it was. Dan Coates or whatever the crap his name was, Coates. I have an idea. Instead of, going on some NBC show or something like that and doing whatever the crap you were doing with the reporter, how about you just don't do that kind of stuff? If you think you're going to be hung out there to dry, just don't go out in public. Don't accept interviews. You don't have to. There's no obligation for you to go out there and be in public. That's not your dadgum job. Your job is a director of national intelligence. Your job's a CIA director. Your job's the FBI director. It's not publicist for the FBI, and it's not publicist or public relations for the DNI or the NSA or the EIEIO. That's not your damn job. Your damn job is to keep us safe and to figure out intelligence, to compile it, and to tell the president what the heck it means ahead of time, hopefully. Whew. Okay, so, but that's the thing about him, about switching gears. If you want to be patient with him and give him a couple, 3 years to switch gears from businessman to politician, from unilateral CEO to president, fine. He's still the unilateral CEO of the executive office. And again, like I said, if you don't like it, you don't have to work for the guy. It's that simple. It really just is. Taking somebody out of business for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever he's been CEO of Trump Enterprises or whatever the crap it's called, and putting him into politician, it'd be like, I'm right-handed. I eat soup with my right hand. Okay, now all of a sudden I have to eat soup with my left hand, and I have to remember that every single time. And if I screw up, then the press is going to have a field day about me eating soup with my right hand when I was told to eat with my left. It's just a training process. You have to go through a certain amount of training and regimen to make your mind switch gears, and that's what he's having to go through now. And frankly, I don't want him to. I just want him to be himself and enact policy. All the rest of the crap you can take, it's for the birds, in my opinion. Just do the policy crap. But this works for him, and it engenders people. They love it. A lot of people love it. He's kept his core supporters, and the more the left goes bat crap crazy over it, the more people are going to come over to him. Like it or not, that's just the way it's going to be. We're going to take another quick break. Be right back. I think to wrap this up. I don't know. I've been droning on for so long, I don't even know where I am. Whatever. My podcast, I can do what I want, right?
You're watching the Common Constitutionalist video podcast.
All right, welcome back. And I'm not even going to bother to recap. You get it. All right? Trump's words get him into trouble and blah, blah, blah. So the odd thing that's happening now is that the press is trying to force people into believing that every word that Trump says has to be policy gospel. Okay, that's the way it is. Whatever he says goes, and that's it. He can't, change his mind. He can't be bluffing. He can't do anything. The words, the hurtful words, the hateful words, all these words, that's the way he thinks, and that's the policy. Okay, he's not just throwing it out there for reaction's sake. We all know that's the case, but that's the way it is. And he, as far as I can see, he's the first president in modern history that we're supposed to believe this. Either president, senator, congressman, that what they say that he'll actually do. Well, we know that's certainly not true, for sure. Just look at the Republicans over the past several years during the Obama administration. Look at all that they promised us with Obamacare, shrinking the budget, the debt ceiling, illegal immigration, the border security, all this crap. How many promises did they make? Well, they used their words, and we still re-elect these guys. Why? I don't know. Because their policies don't match their words, but they get away with it. Look at somebody like Joe Biden. He's a walking gaffe machine, okay? But when he screws up and says something stupid, inane, or inappropriate, or even if he does something inappropriate, well, that's just old Joe. Well, that's just Uncle Joe. Ha ha ha, that's just Joe Biden. No, it's not. Why should it be? Why should Trump be held to a different standard than Biden or Pelosi or Schumer or any of these nimrods? Ryan or McConnell or any of these people that have made us promises. They get up there and speechify about all this bull crap, and then their policies don't match the bull crap. But now all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that we're supposed to hold Trump to a higher standard. Look at Obama, all the promises that he made. What a load of crap. That's the point, is that the Trump derangement syndrome, the hatred from both the right and the left, Trump derangement syndrome is driving this bus of whatever he says, that's what you should hold him to. We don't hold any other politician to that. Why should we hold Trump? Why? Because they hate Trump. It's that simple. That's the bottom line. Now, but the point about this whole thing is that in America today, 2018 America, we are growing the biggest crop of panty waist wimps I've ever seen in my life, where words are as hurtful, like the sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, that's bullcrap. Now you can throw that out the window. Because apparently, whatever Trump says or whatever conservatives say or whatever anyone says, if it's a word, it can hurt as much as a stick or a stone. Well, guess what? It can't. Because in order for you to be insulted or hurt by a word, you have to agree first to be hurt by that word. In your head, in your psyche, you have to agree to be hurt. If I take a stone and wrap you upside the head, there's no agreement. You're going to be hurt. Whether you agree to be hurt or not, whether you insist that this stone isn't going to hurt me, if I hit you upside the head with a rock, you're going to get hurt. I don't care. Or beat you with a stick. So if I had a choice of being called a bad name, whatever, and I've been called every bad name in the book, sexist, racist. Matter of fact, there's a woman in a bikini sunbathing up there. Hello. Is that sexist to say? Well, too effing bad. Excuse my language. But that's just the way it goes. Homophobic, because I just don't agree with the gay lifestyle, the homosexual lifestyle, transgenderism, any of this other LGBT stuff. Y'all can, I don't care about it. It doesn't make any difference. I am a live and let live conservative. But if you call me a sexist or a racist or whatnot, it's going to be water off a duck's back. But if you beat me with a stick, that's a completely different story. And that's the whole point, is we're holding Trump to these inane standards of his words sting like a stick. Well, sorry, but they don't. So that's the bottom line, is that because we're such wimps in this country now, that if somebody calls a black person an N-word, that's the end of the world, apparently. That's just the ultimate end of the world. It would be like a lynch mob or something like that. Well, sorry, but it won't be like a lynch mob, and it never would be. The N-word is just a word, okay? It's an awful word, it's a nasty word, and it shouldn't be uttered, but when somebody utters it to a black person, it's not the end of the planet. I'm sorry, but if you melt down over that, then you've got a screw loose, man. You need to go get some help, because there's a whole lot worse problems than the N-word out there, or any other word, okay? Like I said, I've been called every daggum name in the book, including, what's up, cracker? And it wasn't a term of endearment, bro, I guarantee to you. I've been called that plenty of times, just for being a white guy. But you know what? Who cares? I don't care. I've been called rhymes with wussy, for walking away from entanglements, say, fights or whatever. What the heck do I care? They're just words. That's the point. We all just need to get over the Trump derangement syndrome over his words and just look at his policies. I don't care what he says. I don't care what his hair looks like. I don't care if he's an orange face or a green face. I don't care anything. I don't care about his body language. Give me policy or give me death. That's that's simple. So I think that's about all I've got to say on that topic today. This is Brent Smith. I am the Common Constitutionalist. Oh, by the way, and just in case I forgot, the Gallup, the latest Gallup poll, that the press is so spastic over this Russia-Putin thing and Trump. Nobody in America cares. According to this Gallup poll, it barely registers on the radar. I think they have to put an asterisk because it's less than 1% that people care, including Democrats. Democrats, independent Republicans, no one cares about this issue, but the talking heads and the pundits and the hypersensitive Beltway bunch. So that's now all I've got to say. Y'all have a blessed balance of the weekend. This is the Common Constitutionalist signing off. See you next week. Hopefully I'll see you next week and you won't just hear from me. We'll see. I don't know. Later.